Good morning, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We're at 3535 Southeast 73rd Avenue here in Portland. We're located down in the basement. We're inside the basement bathroom currently. We're going to be dropping into, you've actually got two access points here. It's actually a little bit redundant, to be honest, but you have two cleanouts. Or one's a cleanout, one is a backflow valve. Both of them likely allow you to go both directions. So I'm going to go to the backflow valve just because it's easier to open. I popped the flapper out, so we'll go backwards through that when the line's drained out at the end. Anyway, we're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water's running, we are zeroed out, and off we go. We might have a belly in the line here. I do have a bathtub running, quite a lot of water down the line right now, so we'll see how this all drains out at the end. First appearance there, it kind of looks like we may have a belly in the line, but we'll see. And we just swapped over to cast iron. May have a little standing water in the cast iron as well, so a couple spots that we're going to take a look at. Get a better view in general when the line's drained out at the end. Line sure snaked around a lot more than I assumed it was going to. As far as we are right now, they may have actually run cast iron on this thing. We might get all the way to the curb before it swaps over to either clay, concrete, or some kind of updated plastic. I was expecting to see a transition a long time ago. Now we're finally into 6-inch concrete. You know what? We're going to do this really quick here. My camera just almost felt like I hit an offset there. Yeah, there's an offset point. With the amount of turns I've got between here and there, I don't have a lot of pushing power at the moment. So I'm going to locate where we're at currently to see if we're at the street curb. We've reached the end of homeowner responsibility. Alright, locate the camera head here. I'm going to pull back a little bit and do another locate just to double check. My signal's just not coming in super strong here. But my locate is coming in about 18 inches, 2 feet or so off the street curb right now into the roadway. And at the distance out we are, that's exactly where I expected to find the camera head. I'm going to come back here to about 67 feet. There's a little water trickling off still. I'm going to go kind of slow here just to make sure I don't miss any standing water spots. I think most everything related to potential standing water is back inside the home. Alright, if my locate's coming in proper right now, we should see my locate at where the front yard meets the sidewalk. Alright, and my locate came in smack dab at the sidewalk edge, right where the yard meets the sidewalk. So, knowing that, the cast iron here stretches all the way out to at least homeowner responsibility, if not beyond. Where my locate comes in again at the transition is out in the street. It's a very rare, unique thing to have that. Most homes of this era, 99% of them, the cast iron ends 5 feet outside the foundation of the home. You have clay and concrete the rest of the way. As you can see, the cast iron is showing a level of roughness to it. I mean, that's to be expected to an extent with cast iron this age. And that's cast iron in good shape or in bad shape, honestly. It has a much rougher texture to it naturally than your modern day like plastic pipe, for instance. That's why you really want to avoid things like wipes, paper towels, flushable wipes, feminine hygiene products, things of that nature. Whether they say flushable or not on them, you do not want them going down the line. Keep it to folded toilet paper. That rougher texture really promotes those items to snag up, and they block extra good in cast iron. But we still have a little bit of water moving to the line here. Thus far coming back, we have not seen any standing water in the line. These older lines like this, though, I do highly recommend keeping an eye on them periodically, rescoping, just to monitor the condition. That way, when it comes time, I'm mostly speaking for the stuff we're going through right now. It's older, but it's not a point, in my opinion, where it needs repairs. It's clean, it's flowing okay out here. But that allows you to take advantage of trenchless repair systems or semi-trenchless. If you let a line wear out to the point where it just opens up to the ground, where you get the hydro erosion issues taking place, it can cause settling of the line. You can lose the ability to do that. You're stuck with more traditional dig style repairs. Alrighty, so the line, I actually just uncovered another clean out access. So as you face the front of this home from the street, standing in the road, facing the house, the line exits out of the home at the right side, or you're about a third of the way up the right side of the home when the line exits out. So not at the front right corner, but line heads that direction anyway. There is a clean out that's cleverly hidden behind a little bulkhead by the floor. So there is another access point. That gives you, between the access points you've got here, you can eyeball pretty nicely how the line is routed. Yeah, so we are starting to get channeling, and I was going to say that's just one of the things you want to watch for during a rescope. This right here is not loving how that's looking there. That right there that's the metal pipe bottom that's being eaten away. I was kind of wondering if that was what was going on here as we were making our way through the line there a moment ago. And standing water. This is, by all accounts, not a major amount of standing water. However, when you couple it with rougher pipe materials, yeah, you've got dang near an inch of standing water here. And you do actually have an inch. You're over the camera head. In fact, the top of my camera lens is actually a little more than an inch off the bottom of the pipe. So, and at this point in my career, I think I've already stated how long I've been doing this for. I, generally speaking, do not recommend repairs on a lot of bellies unless they are very close proximity to the home or underneath it. You start taking that same belly and put it 50 feet outside the home, your likelihood of developing a blockage that can result in a backup goes down significantly. Because of the head pressure that develops, assuming the blockage is made out of proper items like toilet paper, not paper towels, things that can withstand incredible amounts of head pressure and are not designed to go down the line. A lot of times those blockages will just bust loose on their own, like a kid wadding up a bunch of toilet paper balls. Anyway, this is a little bit different story. You've got the combo of standing water and very rough pipe bottom here that's channeled out. In fact, you've got chunks of cast iron that is busting loose from the flow line at this point. So, and the end result of all cast iron, if it exists for long enough, it will all rot out the bottom. And that's what this is. This line here, at least in this latter section, out probably the last 5 feet or so of what I'm referring to here is getting near to the point where it's going to rot through into the ground. It's a pretty deep channel there. So I will at least locate this. I'll try and take some photos. I don't have anything I can mark the floor with. All I have is spray paint, unfortunately. But I will at least get some locates. This is one of those spots here where a plumber would have to come back out and relocate, but I'll at least get some depths and get an idea as to where we're at here. But out here to around 22 feet minimum. And realistically, if you're going to go trenching up the floor down here, honestly, even if we're, let's say, we're going to find out right now, but if we're within 10 feet or so of the foundation wall, in my opinion, it does not make sense on lines this old to stop short. You want to take advantage of that scenario as much as possible and get as much done at the same time. It's much more cost effective, and you get a much better result out of this when you do it all at once. You've got a belly that originates, we'll talk about that a little more as we pull back in, but we hit a Y connection where it looks like we may have a belly that originates even further back into a spot where my camera can't go down the line. So some of these require a little bit more of the line get corrected to fix slope and grade than what we're even seeing right now. So I just located that, and where we're currently sitting here is in the furnace room. It looks like my camera just barely popped out from underneath the furnace, and it's a tricky spot to locate, but I'm getting between 10 inches and 1 foot deep there in that location, which puts us, if the line keeps moving straight, probably about 6-7 feet or so, maybe 8 feet, and you'll be at the foundation wall. All right, we're gonna keep coming back in here. Again, you were about at the foot mark. I'll do another locate here as we get in closer. But between the bellying going on, the channeled cast iron, we've actually got some weird items sitting here at the offset. Not sure what that is there. Anyway, between all those things, I'm going to recommend a full update to the, at least at the minimum, the main waste lines down here. You can see how the bellying here starts at, it looks like it precedes the Y connection. I can't go backwards through that Y there, but you could have standing water that persists all the way back to the base of the vent stack for all I know. So when doing this, I would simply plan to update from the vent stack, the bottom of it, out to the foundation wall. And I'll get a depth here really quick here just so you have an idea as to what you're working with. I'm getting around 8 to 9 inches deep right here. So anyway, this stuff will have to be relocated and marked out. After any repairs are completed, make sure a rescope is performed. It's very, very important to do that. And you want to do that rescope when the trenches are closed. You want to get everything compacted, buried. You want to load on top of the line and then look at it before you do your concrete pouring. That helps to ensure that if you do find any settling problems, you can fix them easily without having to rip concrete back up again. So if everything looks good at that point, then you do your concrete pour. Anyway, and keep, again, for anyone repair folks watching this, part of this line I can't scope. I don't have access to it. And you could always ask if they've ever experienced a blockage. It did look like there was some water damage around here near the trim, which could be related. The floor drain has also been completely capped off, which is a little suspect that either because of the bellying overwhelming when water comes through and water coming out of that floor drain, and or due to blockages causing water to come out of the floor drain. That may have been why it got capped off. It's really hard to say. Sometimes those floor drains just get so gunked and worn out they don't work anymore and they get capped off. So just pointing those things out here. Anyway, as for the exterior part of the line, that stuff as it sits right now is still doing its job, has adequate flow to the main, or at least to the street edge. Again, I'm seeing about 2 feet off the street curb. Everything from that point on is in city responsibility. And there is standing water out there. You can always forward that to the city. I don't know if they're going to jump on that. They usually don't mess with stuff unless it's pretty severe. But the exterior line, I would just keep an eye on it. I'd rescope periodically and monitor that. I would do that about every 2 years to monitor the condition of the line up until it's ready to get updated. That way you don't miss an opportunity to do a trenchless or semi-trenchless repair.